Because you're going to be the big popper.
You've been anticipating to eat this for weeks. Oh,
I really have.
You got that down there? Do they have Skyline?
Nope.
No.
This is Raleigh's Roast, episode 3. Coffee, not beef, but this time, this is beef. And what type of beef do we have? We've got Skyline beef. And I'm here with my parents in Cincinnati, Ohio. And we are going to try Skyline. So Skyline, for what people don't know this, what is Skyline? It's like, would you call it Cincinnati chili?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
From the Greeks of Cincinnati.
From the Greeks?
It's Greek in origin.
Oh, really?
Yes, they immigrated here. And Skyline itself is not the oldest. I think it's Empress, or you could...
Emperor's chili?
Empress. It goes back to around
Empress?
the turn of the
Empress.
about 1900, somewhere around
Okay,
there.
so here we have it in front of us. There's, all three of us have what's called either a 3-way or a 4-way. Can we just, Mom,
Nobody got a
what's in
5-way.
yours? What's in yours?
So I got the 3-way.
What's in that?
Spaghetti, chili, and cheese.
Okay, but there's something different.
Cinnamon.
So for people who don't know, what's different about the chili?
It has cinnamon in it.
Is there chocolate in it too?
There might be. I don't know.
There's definitely cinnamon. You can taste the
I'm
cinnamon.
not sure about the chocolate.
Okay, and then the cheese. What's so unique about the cheese? Isn't there something unique about the cheese?
I think it's just the way it's
always
shredded.
finely shredded,
just shredded.
and it's always mild cheddar.
Okay, so this is like a Cincinnati thing. We're gonna take our first bites of Cincinnati famous
Our first bites
Skyline chili.
Our first bites ever. This is what Raleigh was raised on his birthday and every quarter when he got straight A's.
Oh, true story.
He would get...
When I would get straight A's, where did we go, Mom?
You went to Skyline. Your brother went to Chinese. I took Raleigh to Skyline. His dad took his brother to Chinese.
Yes. And
I didn't like Chinese.
I can
I didn't
honestly say
either.
that Dan never failed to make it every quarter because he had straight A's.
And Dan was my brother. They don't know that.
Yeah.
Dan's my brother.
4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. I think
Didn't you
it
do
was
that
a
also?
long period.
I don't know
of
if I
time.
did that or not. Dan was a
high
little bit of a
school-
better. Dan was a bit of a better student.
But when we got to high school, things changed. It's like, let's not do this anymore.
Yeah, they're like, we want to save the money. I'll tell you what.
Or was it that you didn't
I don't
get
know
the
if this is
straight
annoying.
A's?
I don't know if this is annoying for you all on the mic, but I'll tell you what. This is pretty good. How's your guys?
Excellent.
Great.
So I'm gonna take one more bite.
Yeah.
And it's got to be annoying in the mic. Anyways, so Skyline is kind of like a Cincinnati tradition, I would say. But it's moved out. There's more Skylines than just in Cincinnati now.
But
Yeah.
a lot of them don't make it.
And
A lot of them, yeah, because it's weird.
the two biggest franchises are Skyline and Gold Star. Gold Star
Is
another-
Gold Star still there?
Sure.
Where?
There's
They're
lots
everywhere.
of gold stars.
Well, listen, Gold Star, you don't get my sponsorship. Skyline, listen, if you just want to call me up, you want to give me free cheese conies for life. Speaking of cheese conies, Mom didn't get a cheese coney because she's probably being good. Cheese conies are full of cheese.
Yeah.
Dad's got 2. They are hot dogs with Skyline chili and cheese.
Yeah.
So people from the South don't get this.
But not just a hot dog. It's got to be a skinny hot dog.
It's a tiny hot dog. It's not like a
Small hot dog.
It's not like a ballpark hot dog. It's a tiny hot dog, really. But it's the same length. But anyways, these are really, really, really good. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers to the hot
Cheers.
dogs. All right.
And I have an everything chili or coney, cheese coney. Everything comes with mustard and onions. So it's onions, mustard, chili, and cheese.
Mine only has mustard.
Or only has onions.
Only has onions. It's supposed to. I think there's mustard on mine.
Uh-oh.
Is there mustard on yours?
Yes, but I asked for it.
Mine's good still. What are you doing, Skyline? Messing up our orders.
Yeah. But I will say this. There was no wait. It was walk right in. Usually around this time you have to wait in line. Because they are busy.
So, how long have you guys lived? These are my parents, by the way. Everyone, cheers for my parents. How long have you guys lived in Cincinnati?
My entire life.
I moved here 1 month after this is how old I am, Kennedy assassination when I was in the 4th grade in December of 1963,
Where were you from?
Detroit.
Wow.
We still have ties with Michigan because we have a place up there in Michigan, but that's 200 miles north of Detroit. And my dad was transferred here, and
What did your dad do?
he was, at the time, coordinator of field training for Western and Southern in the home office.
Wow. And Mom, you were born and raised.
Born and raised in
So
Cincinnati.
you've been eating this Skyline chili for like 100 years now.
Almost 100 years. I'm not quite there yet.
And what did your dad and mom do?
My mom stayed home and raised me and my 10 brothers and sisters.
My mom has 10 brothers and sisters.
I'm smack in the middle.
Yeah, you're number 6.
6 out of 11. And Dad worked in a machine shop and several other jobs to keep us fed.
How many
and
jobs
clothed
did
in
he
school.
How many jobs did he work at one time?
Oh, up to 3 at a time. He was a hard worker to provide for everybody.
And he had 11 kids.
Yep.
And when did your mom pass away? How old were you?
I was 21.
Mom was 21.
So Dad
So
was
then-
still at home with 7 kids.
7 kids and 4 had moved out.
It was 6 months after we got married.
Oh, really?
Yep.
I actually didn't know that. I
We
didn't
got
know
married
Dad
at the end
actually.
of June 30th, and she passed in December of
I didn't know Dad was in the picture
1979,
yet.
so it's been over 40
We had
years.
just gotten married.
I didn't know that Dad was in the picture yet.
Yep.
Wow, that's kind of
Oh,
crazy.
I remember her mom well. Yep.
And she
liked
prayed
me.
all the time.
She was very devout.
She was like
Yep.
very,
She was an amazing woman.
yeah.
And at the funeral at the church of St. Francis de Sales, there were literally hundreds of people that came to pay their last respects to her because she was a remarkable lady. Truly. She was amazing.
Yeah, I never met her, certainly,
Obviously.
but everyone talks about her like she was just like
Yeah.
such a remarkable person.
She was. She
Okay.
prayed every day.
So, okay, that's a little family history.
Yeah.
What do you guys, so for the people at home that don't know, that are watching this, what do you guys do for a living? Mom, you want to start?
I'm a registered nurse.
What type of nurse?
I work in a newborn ICU. Been doing that for over 30 years, 36
So-
or 7 years to be exact.
Yeah.
So specifically, what thing do you do? What do you do?
What do I do?
Like what? Like who do you help?
Babies.
Babies, but premature specifically.
Either born too early or babies that are sick or with problems.
And you've done that for 40 years.
Not quite 40. Probably 37, 38.
Total nursing time was over 40 years.
Yeah, I've been a nurse forever, for about 42 years.
Dad, what do you
Yes.
do?
I drive a school bus.
But what did you do before that?
I drove a city transit bus.
You drove a metro bus.
I drove a city transit bus in the city of Cincinnati for 30 years. I started in 1980 and retired in 2010. You were going to Georgetown College when I retired. And I've been driving for the Sycamore School District for almost 10 years. And I like it because,
Yeah.
it's not a lot of hours during the day and it's not hard work. And I like being around children, you try to steer
Yeah.
them in the right direction and just be a good guide for them.
Yeah. Okay. But then did you do anything before you were a bus driver?
I did a lot of jobs before.
What did you do?
I sold insurance for 2 years at Western Southern. I was a sales rep. Before that, I waited on tables for a couple of years at popular restaurants in Cincinnati. One was Buster T. Brown's,
Buster T. Brown's, I've heard of
Maggie's
that.
Opera House, and I worked at the main entrance in Delhi. Before that, I worked factory jobs. I went to Ohio College of Applied Science for building construction. I tried to get a job in that field. I was not successful. And before that, I did work. I worked at Bernard Laboratories in a packaging plant. I worked at Conn's in the slaughterhouse right out of high school.
Yeah.
And I was a bus boy in high school, bussing tables.
All right.
So from the time I was 16, or even earlier, I was always working,
Wow.
bussing tables, or even when I was 14, I got a job as a stock boy in a King Quick.
Okay.
Paid $1 an hour under the
$1 an hour under the table.
Yep, that's a good
Wow.
old days.
Okay. So a lot of people know this, but some people who are watching this don't know this, but you guys adopted me when I was a few days old. And also my brother, Dan. How old was Dan?
Same. He was
Same
probably,
age.
we got him when he was probably 3 days old. You were probably 4 days old.
Not even a week.
But tell the story, because who was not the mistake, but who was the surprise? Didn't they say that, do you want another kid?
Both of you were surprised because
both of you were surprised.
it just.
How
you
did
just
it
get
happen?
You just get that phone call. So we had already had your brother Daniel. He was 18 months old. And we got a call from the person who had hooked us up with Daniel and wanted to know how Dan was doing. And we're just chit-chatting. And her next question is, would you like a sibling for Dan?
Whoa.
And that was you.
Yeah.
So you're almost to the day, 18 months apart.
Yeah.
So,
And we're very different.
Yep.
How would you guys say that we're different?
Very different, but you also were as thick as thieves growing up.
For sure.
Yeah.
So it was like you would get in trouble and Dan would defend you, and he'd get in trouble and you'd defend him, believe it or not.
Yes.
Well, I don't know. It's like, well, I don't know. Dan, you know, I would say you worked harder, believe it or not. Even though
Believe it or not.
even though it's like, Dan seemed like he was, you know, like the whiz kid, you know, because he picked up things real fast.
Yeah.
You seemed like you were more, you had to work harder at your thing because, you know, but you were a good student in the fact that you were more timely in doing your homework, whereas Dan crammed, you know, and studied and at the last minute.
He was last minute.
But he always got good grades as well as you. But I don't know. You were more the social guy.
Sure. Let's call it that. Let's call it the social guy.
Dan was a social guy too, very much so.
Yeah, but in different ways.
Yeah.
Like I was a little bit more of a troublemaker.
Yeah, the trouble. Yeah, I wanted to be polite.
You can call it what it is. The beauty of podcasts is that there's no censorship. We can say whatever we want. Even Jada, the dog, wants to be in. Here's a good question. What does it feel like to have a son who pursued something in the entertainment field, like the music field? What did it feel like when you found out that I quit my job?
We were shocked.
And we were we were selling our house, and we were gonna pursue this thing full go. How did that feel? Who wants to go?
Well, we always knew that you were really talented and really good at what you do, but that was a major, like, oh my gosh, you know, it's.
All I thought was if Shelby was with you, if she was on board, you'd make a go for it. And I always knew that you would have music in your life some way. I mean, it stems back from kindergarten when you wrote a letter to Santa saying that you wanted a piano for Christmas. Yeah. And not a keyboard. You wanted a real piano.
And we got one, by the way.
That year.
You can't see this. We're in right now. This is like a makeshift podcast setup. We're at my house that we grew up in. I grew up in their house, and you can't see it, but there's a piano that my parents got me right there, and it was grandma's piano. Whose piano was it?
It was. They bought a cabin in Michigan, my dad, when he retired. The house was fully furnished, and the piano was in the house. So it belonged to two school teachers that lived in that cabin beforehand. Okay. So the piano was in the house, but the story is that my mom passed away, and she always wanted you guys to have the piano. And so we drove up and got it. Under no uncertain terms, I said, if we have got to get that piano in our minivan, we have an MPV minivan.
And wasn't it not a Sienna or was it an MPV?
It was the Mazda MPV.
All right, okay. So it's this small minivan. It's not huge. And this piano is not big, but in that minivan, it was tight. Yeah. That was a tight fit. We have it's a small upright piano right here, and it was out of tune when we got it. Yeah. Got back.
It's still out of tune.
And it's still out of tune. I don't think it ever was able to be tuned.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so me and my brother learned how to play on that, and they won't tell you this, but I will. I excelled on that thing, and my brother was just mediocre. I'm kidding.
No, you were right,
but
because
we knew you had a flair.
you will say that we forced you to practice, but we never did.
What?
You were always in there plunking at the piano.
Yep.
No.
Even all the way
sometimes I
down
didn't
from
want to practice,
Michigan.
and you made me.
Oh, I think you would do.
You're remembering it different than me.
Actually, it was hard for you to get started on a new number, but once you started tinkering with it, this is my opinion. Once you started tinkering with it, you kept improving on it and improving on it and improving on it to where it's like after a while, you really excelled in it. It's like you added on your own little flair.
Yeah.
Keys.
You just wanted to do your music. Not
he's really got a gift
music.
on. I think we realized then when you were quite young that you had a gift for music. No question about it.
Yeah. So we sold our house and moved
further away from
you, which is sad.
It is sad.
But to kind of pursue this kind of crazy dream.
Mm-hmm.
And that I feel like that's I don't know. If I was a parent of someone who did that, I'd be a little hesitant.
But you always want your kids to be happy in life. There's nothing worse than having a job that you're just miserable at. So as long as you were paying the bills.
And to be fair, Mom and Dad sometimes made me, but we did everything growing up. I was on the swim team.
Yes.
I was in the Boy Scouts. I became an Eagle Scout. Mom really pushed that one. Oh, no.
We had fun doing the Eagle
Barely
Hunt.
made it through that.
You made it before your 18th birthday.
Was baseball team, select baseball team, basketball team, AAU summer basketball, football team. What else did we do?
Swimming.
Soccer.
I
said swimming.
Oh, okay.
Soccer.
But we didn't force. I mean, you guys.
We wanted to do that stuff.
You were very active.
But we
made it available to you.
To their credit,
wanted to do it.
Not only did they adopt us, but they gave us all the opportunities in the world to do things.
Busy.
To kind of figure out what we wanted to do. They found out really quick Raleigh hated swimming. I hated wearing a Speedo. Yeah. Listen, to all you kids out there, I feel for you.
But he was the master.
You're not alone. Yes, I was good at backstroke at swimming.
He was the master.
But I was also really, really not for wearing that Speedo. But it was fun. So, anyways, is there, any other things that we should talk about? I don't know. This is kind of a short episode, but
this is really, we moved into this house in this month, February, I believe, 30 years ago, this month, February of 1990. So you were only 2 months old.
Yeah.
We put a bid in on this house, and we lived in Pleasant Ridge even before you were born.
Yeah.
So
when we got the call saying
we had our hands full, needless to say.
Yeah, so you had just moved into a new house.
We hadn't even moved.
And they said, "Do you want another kid?"
Yeah.
We're like, wait a minute, how do we afford that?
A little toddler and Dan, 18 months old, or thereabouts, and then he was probably 20 months, and then you, a brand new baby, and then here are the responsibility of moving all our stuff out of, it's like a lot of young families have to do that, but. It was a very big of a challenge. It sounds like a challenge, So, I think at that time we realized, and her, your Aunt Betsy, her children are older. They went through the Princeton School District, and we wanted you to go to the Princeton School District also. And it was a good area to live in. This was a good place to grow up in.
It was a good place to grow up in. Mm-hmm. I feel like.
Mm-hmm. Well. We've been here 30 years.
Anyways, these I don't know if there's anything else. I feel like I just wanted to introduce everyone to my parents, have a little Skyline, have a beer. Cheers.
Cheers.
You guys might make it on a future episode. That would be fun. We can talk about a lot more other things, but these are the people who kind of did it for me. They gave me a chance and raised me and were amazing and gave me every opportunity in the world. And Mom and Dad, the best mom and dad. The best mom and dad. Listen, they are the best mom and dads you could ask for. I have a song. I'm not going to play it, but just be on the lookout. There's a song that's about kind of this story and everything, and it's going to be great. And the verse 2 is all about these two folks right here. So we're going to go back to our Skyline and hang out. And listen, this is Raleigh's Roast. If you want to send us coffee, which normally we do coffee, but we're on the road, so this is kind of a makeshift podcast situation. So we actually did beef this time. There's beef in Skyline. So normally it's coffee, not beef, but tonight it's not coffee, but beef with Raleigh Keegan, your host Raleigh Keegan, starring Raleigh Keegan. I don't struggle with narcissism.
What do you rate Skyline? How many Raleigh?
Honestly, okay, how many so normally we rate coffee 0 through 10 Raleighs. Okay. Now we're gonna rate this Skyline. This performance of Skyline. Which Skyline was this, Dad? Off of Cornell?
Yeah.
All right, this was off of Cornell Road, for the record. And I'm gonna give my Skyline an honest 9 out of 10.
Why was it
9 out of 10 Raleighs? It was 9 out of 10 Raleighs. It was to go, and it was still fresh. It got here. Cheese melted quick. Love that. Mm-hmm. Was still hot. I would say really flavorful, cooked well.
It missed a 10 because you didn't get your onions.
It missed a 10 because the onions weren't on it. I had to put my own onions on my three-way. What type of first world problem is that? Come on, Skyline. This is an epidemic.
I think that's just the way they do it, to go order.
Yes. What would you rate yours? How many Raleighs?
I'll give it a 9. Well,
9 Raleighs out of 10.
But you have to understand, Skyline is always consistent.
I would say so too.
Very rarely do you not get what you pay for.
Like, very rarely.
Yeah. You know what
Must be easy to cook.
what to expect when you order it.
Because I feel like pizza places are way less consistent.
Right.
You know, sometimes you're going to get a great pizza, sometimes you're not. Depends on who's cooking. I feel like I never get a bad Skyline.
No.
What was yours? How many 0 out of 10 Raleighs?
I'll say a 9 also.
9 Raleighs out of 10.
I'm not very original.
Cheers. Listen, y'all. It's been great. Until next time. Cheers.
Cheers.
That's it? All right.